Hi everyone! I am here to continue reading some of the Jungle Book to you today. Over the next 10 or 11 years, Mowgli had many wonderful adventures among the wolves. He grew up with the cubs, though they were grown wolves before he was even a child. Father Wolf and Baloo the bear taught him all the things to know in the jungle. When Mowgli was not learning, he sat in the sun and slept and ate and slept again. When he felt hot or dirty, he swam in the forest pools. And when he wanted honey, Baloo taught him that honey and nuts were as good to eat as meat. He climbed up and got it. Mowgli was very good at climbing anywhere, thanks to Bagheera. When Mowgli was still very small, Bagheera would lie out on a branch and call, "Come along, little brother." At first, Mowgli would cling to a vine and crawl slowly along, but soon he could fling himself through the branches of the jungle as boldly as an ape. When the pack met, Mowgli took his place at Council Rock. He discovered that if he stared hard at any wolf, the wolf would be forced to drop his eyes. In this way, Mowgli could easily win any argument. But sometimes he would stare just for fun. He would also pick long, painful thorns out of the paws of his wolf friends. The members of the pack were grateful for Mowgli's nimble fingers, and Mowgli considered himself to be one of them. At night, Mowgli would go down the hillside into the farmlands and look at the villagers in their huts. He was curious about men, but he did not trust them. Bagheera had shown him a trap made by men, so well hidden in the jungle that Mowgli had nearly walked into it. There was nothing Mowgli liked better than to spend the day with Bagheera in the warm, dark heart of the forest. They would sleep all the drowsy day, and at night Mowgli would watch Bagheera do his hunting. Bagheera hunted easily whenever he felt hungry, and so did Mowgli, with one exception. As soon as Mowgli was old enough to understand, Bagheera had told him he must never harm Water Buffalo because he had been accepted into the pack for the price of a buffalo's life. "All the jungle is yours," Bagheera said, "but for the sake of that bull, you must never kill or eat Water Buffalo. That is the law of the jungle." Mowgli obeyed the rule faithfully. Mowgli grew big and strong, living the carefree life of a boy who thought mostly of things to eat. Once or twice, Mother Wolf told him that Shere Khan was not to be trusted. She told him that someday he must kill Shere Khan. A young wolf would have remembered that advice every hour. But because he was only a boy, Mowgli forgot it. Shere Khan was always crossing Mowgli's path. The tiger had become great friends with the younger wolves in the pack, who followed him and ate his scraps. This was something Akela would never have allowed in his stronger days, but the pack leader was growing old and feeble. Shere Khan flattered the younger wolves, asking them why such fine hunters were content to be led by a dying wolf and a man cub. "They tell me at council you don't dare look him in the eyes," the tiger would say, and the young wolves would growl and bristle. Bagheera, who had eyes and ears everywhere, tried to warn Mowgli that Shere Khan was a dangerous enemy, but Mowgli just laughed. "I have you in the pack, and even lazy Baloo might strike a blow for my sake. Why should I be afraid?" One very warm day, Bagheera tried again. "Little brother, how often have I told you Shere Khan is your enemy and will one day try to kill you?" Mowgli lay with his head on Bagheera's beautiful black fur. "As many times as there are nuts on that palm," he replied. "But I am sleepy, and Shere Khan is all long tail and loud talk, like Mao the peacock." "This is no time for sleeping," Bagheera said seriously. "Shere Khan is a danger to you. Baloo knows, and I know. The pack knows, and even Tabaqui knows. Ho, ho, Mowgli laughed. Tabaqui came to me with rude talk, and I swung him by the tail against a tree to teach him better manners. That was foolish, Bagheera said. Tabaqui may be a mischief maker, but he would have told you important things. Shere Khan will not dare to kill you as long as Akela is the leader of the pack. But Akela is growing old. The day is coming when he will no longer lead. Many of the younger wolves believe, as Shere Khan has taught them, that a man cub has no place in the pack. And soon you will be a man. Why can't a man run with his brothers? Mowgli asked. I was born in the jungle. I obey the law of the jungle. I have pulled thorns from the paws of every wolf here. Surely they are my brothers. Bagheera stretched his full length. Little brother, feel under my chin, he said, with half-closed eyes. Mowgli put his hand under Bagheera's silky chin. Just under the jaw, he found a little bald spot. There is no one in the jungle who knows that I, Bagheera, carry that mark. It is the mark of the collar. Yes, little brother, I have lived among men. It was among men that my mother died, in the cages of the king's palace. That is why I paid the price for you at the council when you were a naked cub. Like you, I was born among men. They fed me behind bars until one day I knew I was Bagheera the panther, and no man's plaything. With one blow from my paw, I broke the lock. I ran away, and because I had learned the ways of men, I became more terrible in the jungle than even Shere Khan is. Isn't that so? Yes, Mowgli nodded. Everyone in the jungle fears Bagheera, except Mowgli. You are a man cub, Bagheera said tenderly. Just as I return to the jungle, one day you will go back to the world of men, if you are not killed by the pack first. Why should the pack wish to kill me? Mowgli asked. Look at me, said Bagheera. Mowgli looked steadily into his eyes. After half a minute, the big panther turned his head away. That is why, Bagheera said. Not even I can look you in the eyes, and I love you, little brother. The others hate you because their eyes cannot meet yours. They see that they are not your equal, because you are wise, because you have pulled thorns from their feet, because you are a man. I didn't know, Mowgli frowned under his heavy black brows. Be wise, Bagheera cautioned, and be wary. When Akela misses his next kill, the pack will turn against him and against you. They will hold council at the rock, and then, I have it! Bagheera leaped up. Go now, quickly, down to the men's huts and take some of the red flower they grow there. Then, when the time comes, you will have an even stronger friend than myself, or Baloo, or your brothers in the pack. Get the red flower. Bagheera was talking about fire. No creature in the jungle called fire by its name, because every beast lived in fear of it. The red flower, Mowgli repeated. I have seen it growing outside men's huts at twilight. I will get some. Spoken like a man cub, Bagheera said proudly. Go swiftly, get the flower in a little pot and keep it beside you. I will go, Mowgli said, slipping an arm around his friend's neck and looking into his big eyes. But tell me, Bagheera, are you sure this trouble is Shere Khan's doing? I swear on the broken lock that freed me, little brother, Bagheera answered. And I swear on the buffalo that bought me. I will repay him in full, and maybe a little more. With that, Mowgli bounded away. That is man, Bagheera said to himself as he lay back down. That is all man. On his way down the hill, Mowgli stopped to listen to the pack hunting. He heard the bellow of a buck being chased. Then he heard the wicked, bitter howls of the young wolves. Akela! Akela! Show your strength! Spring, Akela! Mowgli heard the snap of Akela's teeth, and then a yelp as the buck knocked him with his foot. The leader of the pack must have sprung and missed. Mowgli did not wait to hear more. He dashed onward, the yells growing faint behind him. Bagheera spoke the truth, he panted, hiding below the window of a hut. Tomorrow, fate will be decided for Akela, and for me. I must get the red flower to save us both. Mowgli watched through the window all night long as a woman tended the fire in the hearth, feeding it small black lumps to keep it burning. In the morning, he saw a child pick up a pot. Being careful not to touch the charcoal with his hands, the child filled the small pot with the embers. Then he carried the pot with him as he stepped outside to tend the cattle. "Is that all?" Mowgli said to himself. "If a cub can handle it, there's nothing to fear." He walked around the corner and took the pot from the boy's hand. Then, while the boy howled in fear, Mowgli disappeared into the mist. And that is where I am going to stop today and come back tomorrow for more of The Jungle Book.